Coming up,
If you have a lot of flexibility and mobility, you become like superhuman.
flexibility and mobility are different. Both are important to keep you moving pain-free for the rest of your life. Personal trainer Morgan Shapiro gives us a crash course on how to get started with these two movement modalities. Then, the lovely folks of a local French cafe have made it easy for you to recover from being under the weather with healthy soups to go. Plus, SoFlo H2O host Olivia Ray joins us for a Pixar-inspired round of mini golf. All of that and more is today on SoFlo Health. Hello there. Yeah, I know. It's not my usual get-up in my usual place. Welcome to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie. If you watched last week's episode, you would have noticed that it is an encore performance and that I told you I had shingles. And I still have shingles, actually. I'm just through the contagious stage. If you don't know what shingles are, they're a reactivation of the chickenpox virus. So if you've ever had chickenpox, it's possible for you to get shingles. Now, if you have shingles, you're only contagious to other people who have not had the chickenpox virus. You can't pass shingles to somebody, but you can pass the chickenpox virus to somebody who has never had it or the vaccine. But we'll get more into that later on. When you're feeling down and out, you probably want some soup.
Soup for you!
Thank you. That's why the crew here brought me some soups from La Boulangerie, and I'm gonna go heat them up, and you head there. We'll talk about it later.
This is La Boulangerie Boulmiche. We are a French artisanal bakery and cafe with a Latin twist. All of our pastries are baked fresh every single day, and you'll see a lot of Latin flavors influenced in our menu. We have 6 locations here in South Florida, and we are actually franchising, so there'll be more to come. So we have a full menu, so we serve breakfast, lunch, and an early dinner. We have salads, sandwiches, and our delicious soup. We heard that Hunter is a little bit under the weather, so we've prepared some of our delicious homemade soups for him, and we'll be sending them home so that he can feel better real soon. We have our vegetable soup, which is full of so many different vegetables, including carrots, onions, potatoes, celery. We also have our lentil soup, which is packed with a lot of protein, so that should help him feel better really quick, and also our chickpea soup. All of our soups are also available for purchase online, so you can visit our website and we'll have it delivered directly to your door. And we also have an amazing prepared food freezer where you can grab any one of our soups and take it home with you in larger quantities. What's really exciting is that this month we're offering a promo if you order directly from our website. To find out more about our offerings, our special promotions, you can follow us on Instagram at laboulangerie_boulmiche or visit our website.
Personal trainer Morgan Shapiro recently asked me if I would like to move like this. Then that requires you to be flexible and mobile, but what are the differences between those? So Morgan, what's flexibility, what's mobility, why do we care?
So I'm very happy you asked that because oftentimes people use them interchangeably and they go together for sure, but they're very different. So let me give you an example. Maybe your lat muscle, right, alongside your back is really flexible. So you're able to lengthen it a lot. You're able to really stretch that muscle. But if you don't have good shoulder mobility, being able to move that joint through a certain range of motion, you're not so likely to be able to reach that arm up, maybe do a pull up, do a pull over, because if you're lacking mobility in the joint, it doesn't matter how flexible your lat is, you're gonna be able to reach your arm up here because you have no mobility in your shoulder. Does that make sense?
Right. So people that get frozen shoulders, or they're limited to if they need to say reach something, and instead of being able to go all the way up, they have to use some other part of their body to get there.
Right.
Then that means that they're lacking mobility.
Mobility. Yeah. So oftentimes as a trainer, it's my job to assess a client and see they may have good flexibility, we're lacking mobility, or vice versa. Ideally, you'd have both, right? Because if you have a lot of flexibility and mobility, you become like superhuman. And that's what we're gonna try to do today.
So what do we do about it? What does that look like?
So there's a lot of movements you can do everyday life in the gym, or there's mobility exercises you can do that I'm going to show you right now. So we're going to start off working on our lower body mobility, specifically the hips. That's an area a lot of us are lacking mobility. So I'm going to put this right here, and I want you to take your leg and bring it up and over the foam roller and back the other way. So get a little bit closer.
Out there?
Yep.
Okay.
And if your balance is a little shaky, I can come on the other side of you. You can hold on to me, but I have a feeling you got it.
I got it. Like this?
Yep, up and over. Good.
You know what, actually, I do this better with my shoes off.
Or you know what we could do? I could have you do your left leg and you can hold on to my shoulder.
No, this is easier. I just prefer to do mobility and balance type things with no shoes.
With flat feet.
So do I come down to the floor or just keep it up?
Yep, right down to the floor. Now you don't have to have a foam roller. You can use like a low stool, even a paper towel roll if you're a little bit shorter, that may be a little higher for you. I like to have that as like a reference cue. It gives you the cue to actually lift it up and gain that different range of motion. But maybe you're just starting off and you're really lacking mobility in those hips. You could have nothing and you can just do little circles back and forward. So we are moving through that range of motion. This is going to be mobility.
Right, and so this would be mobility, and then a static stretching would be a flexibility.
Absolutely. So here we're doing the hips. Now the muscles surrounding the hips, you may want to static stretch. The quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, that's more stretches where you're holding it. And this is mobility. So this is great before a workout.
Right. And this is for pretty much anybody?
Anybody. Not even if, I mean, everyone should work out. You guys all know that I promote exercise, but if you're sitting in the car a lot, if you're sitting at your desk a lot, most likely you feel tightness in the hips, so this is good for everyone.
Yes. And I just remembered while we were talking here that part of my balance problems was that I'm looking at you and I'm talking.
Right.
And if you're going to do this, you need to be focused and you need to pick a point, stare at it, and that'll help you keep your balance.
Or you can put this to the other side.
Sure.
So now you're going to do the left leg. Or you can have a friend.
And your friend
you can hold on for a little balance, or a kitchen table, a chair.
Your friend could be an inanimate object.
Yeah,
it's okay.
There you go.
I'm not calling you an inanimate object.
Feels better though, right?
Sam called me an inanimate object.
Did he really? Sam. We love it.
Perfect. So
hips feel a little bit more mobile, right?
My hips don't lie.
Okay, hips do not lie. I can see that.
Yes. So you could use foam roller. You could use anything that's just, you need to get over a bit.
And you don't want it to be too high. So as you can see, this is a smaller foam roller. Some of the ones in the gyms are really long. If you're tall, that may work, but like for me, I'd be like kicking it way over, and that's not what we're looking for here. We're trying to move it through a practical range of motion, right?
Well, this can't be all there is for flexibility and mobility.
No, I have a lot more, and now I would like to switch to the upper body.
All right, we're gonna switch to the upper body, but first, stay right there. Soups, mini golf, and more movement are up ahead on SoFlo Health. Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Franke. This is Morgan Shapiro, and we've been going over flexibility and mobility. Remember, flexibility is how long your muscle can stretch, and mobility is how it moves in space. Sometimes people call that range of motion.
Yeah.
And we've got bands. Earlier, we went over this using a foam roller, or this is kind of a smaller foam roller, or some other object to get some lower body mobility, hip mobility by moving your leg over and around it. What do we have for your upper body?
So now we're going to focus on the upper body, specifically the shoulders, because I'm sure you hear all the time, oh, I'm lacking mobility in my shoulders, I can't put my arm overhead. So there's ways to improve that. So I have a band there for you. You're going to grab your band, and now I have gotten to the point where I bring the band up and over. I understand that's not that practical for everyone. I've been working on my mobility for a while. So how can people at home get to that point? Let's start off by simply having our bands. Maybe we bring it up here. That's improving shoulder mobility. Now we bring it up here. You bring it here, you're mindful. How do your shoulders feel in that position? Can you press it up and down? That's why I like having the bands too, because it has a little give. And eventually you can get to the point where you're bringing it back up and over. How does that feel for you?
Great.
There you go.
So what else do we do with this?
That cue really helps. So next one is actually not with the bands. There's many things you can do with this, but for now, we'll put our bands down.
Great.
And now we're going to do something that I do a lot with my clients. Oftentimes I do it either on the floor or against the wall, but we're going to do it just standing up, and we're doing a little internal, external rotation. So that's really important to keep with the shoulders. You want to always have that internal, external rotation. Now, if you're against the wall, I want you to try to press your elbows and your hands against the wall. And in order to do that, you have to be sure you're not rounding your shoulders, because a lot of people do that too from having a tight chest muscle. So you're really opening that up and working on that range of motion. And now for some people, this may feel impossible at first. I've seen it with clients, they get very discouraged. Please be mindful that lacking shoulder mobility is something that I see a lot. It's more common, unfortunately, than not, but that's why we're gonna add these things in, and slowly you'll get better over time.
Great.
Looking good.
And do you have anything else?
So the last one I have is for the lower body. We're going to come down to the mats, and we're gonna open up the hips a little bit more.
Great. Let's get some mats. We have the mats. What now?
We have the mats specifically to protect our knees, because the next one we're going to be coming down to our knees. So everyone at home, I want you to have some cushion underneath to support. We're gonna come down and we are going back to the lower body, specifically the hips again. We're gonna go to a frog stretch, but we're gonna move through it dynamically, right? We're focusing on that mobility. So you're turning those feet out, trying to put them flat on the floor, and you're kind of widening your stance right there with your knees. So now this, for some people, may be like, ow. This is tight, this is uncomfortable. Now I want you to slowly kind of just move back. Back and forth. There you go. So, speaking for itself, what exactly are you feeling and where?
Basically where your leg meets the rest of your body. Right the groin area.
Yep. All those little muscles, and that's so important to do this mobility work, because it's like, sure, you stretch your quads and your hamstrings, but what about your adductors, the small muscles in the middle, the small muscles on the outside? And I recommend doing this as often as you have the time. I like to come down and move through this because this very much mimics the squat, right? So I'm preparing my body to move through this range of motion.
Yeah, and that's because that is what your everyday life looks like. You are picking things up, you're placing them other places, you're going from low to high, high to low, you're squatting down. It doesn't sound like you're doing things that you do in the gym most of the time, but if you stop and think about your everyday life, most of the patterns that you're doing are similar. So this is important to incorporate in an approachable way. To start small and grow just like everything else. Well, Morgan, thank you so much. Do you have any last remarks for people?
I would say we can come down to some 90-90 when you guys can go ahead and move on, but we're gonna keep up the mobility work.
And before we let you go, how many reps, sets, how much time should people spend doing any of this?
So I would say 10 minutes before your workout as part of your warm-up. When you're not working out, 10 minutes at home. Commercial break, in between, SoFlo Health, just come down a few stretches, not too long. 5 to 10 minutes.
Not everything has to be a half-hour workout.
Exactly. Let's make it practical and sustainable.
Thanks a lot. I guess I'll wait for you to come back to taste these soups from La Boulangerie. And SoFlo H2O host Olivia Ray joins us for mini golf when SoFlo Health returns. Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Franke, and while I've been down with shingles, I've been eating all kinds of food, but everybody loves soup when they aren't feeling well. So I'm gonna taste these soups that you saw earlier at La Boulangerie. I've got chickpea, lentil, and vegetable. Now, let's talk about my shingles journey for just a minute. I mentioned earlier that shingles aren't necessarily transferable to other people unless they have never had the chicken pox, which is the case. However, when you have shingles, it's an ugly, gross process that you want to make sure to just be clean during the process. If you're not familiar with how shingles goes, it starts off a little something like this. You start to get some sort of tingling sensation or burning sensation on your skin somewhere. It might come out of nowhere. You might think it's muscle soreness. In fact, that's exactly what I thought it was. I was feeling it on my shoulder blade and on my chest. I actually have it wrapped up right now. Then I started to have some of those nasty little shingles rashes show up. Shingles rashes are very distinct. You might think, oh, well, how would I know if it's a poison ivy or if I just have an irritant from my deodorant? Trust me, shingles is very, very distinct. Your rash will start to bubble up with these gross little fluid-filled pustules. It's just such a terrible word, and I've got soup in front of me. I don't even know if I'm gonna eat anymore after this, but I'll explain it for you. Once those little boils start to show up, they will spread rapidly. And one of the key signs of shingles is that you will experience pain, like nerve pain. That's because chickenpox hides in your nerves and later comes out when your immune system is weak. You might say, well, how did you get shingles in the first place? Well, if you've had chickenpox, it goes and hides in your nerves somewhere, and then at an opportunistic time, it will reemerge some point later in your life, or can reemerge some point later in your life. Usually, it's when you're run down, it's associated with stress, it's associated with compromised immune systems, and that can happen to all of us at different parts of our life. But people that are at greater risk are those that are immunocompromised, who have recently been through some sort of chemo treatment or cancer treatments, and those are the people that should really consider to get the shingles vaccine, which is currently available to those 50 years of age and older. So once you're in the final phase of scabbing up and basically having road rash on you from wherever that shingles popped up, you want to make sure to keep those covered. Although it might seem a little counterintuitive, you want to keep open wounds moist and covered, and that will help heal them faster. Eventually you'll just scab up and dry up and be kind of gross for a little bit, but once that all goes away, you're good to go, and hopefully you don't have any lingering nerve pain or anything like that. Now, as much as I've enjoyed talking about shingles, I'd much rather have this soup. I'd actually really like to go mini golfing, but somehow I don't think that's in the cards.
Hunter, I'm sorry, but I've got to take this one because we are at Las Olas Oceanside Park. So you know if we're by the water, SoFlo H2O has got to come and help you out. So we are here at a pop-up. It's the Pixar Putt. I'm super excited. Kind of takes you back to your childhood if you're an adult. And if you're a kid, you're going to enjoy it. So we're going to go meet the producer, Chad. Let's go check it out. All right, Chad, I'm so excited because we're here at the Pixar Putt. So talk a little bit about kind of what we have going on here.
Pixar Putt is an amazing, immersive, traveling Pixar-themed miniature golf course. And we're setting up here in beautiful downtown Fort Lauderdale, right by the beach.
I mean, you can't beat this. You're in the middle of the hustle and bustle, a lot going on, you're outside, plus you get to kind of live like you're a kid again.
Absolutely. We've got all 18 of your favorite Pixar movies that are realized on the course.
Okay, perfect. And we're at one right now, Finding Nemo, so I'm super excited. So I just go ahead and I can go on the boardwalk and play here?
Just step up, avoid the pelican as best you can.
Okay, perfect. And so you guys have been kind of all over the place. So talk about, you know, kind of how you guys made your way to Florida.
Sure. We premiered in the U.S. in New York City. We went to Chicago and San Antonio, Houston. It'll bounce back.
It's a bummer.
It's okay. This is a par 3, so you're
right. So
you're
that
right on track.
I can get in. This is my warm up. So now you guys are here in Florida, and you guys are open for a good 2 months here.
Yeah, we're playing through the end of March every single day, Monday through Friday, 3 to 10, weekends 10 to 10.
And so what are some of the movies that people... Goal.
Hey.
There we go. Okay.
Hole in 3. Good job.
Love it. So what are some of the movies that people can expect, kind of like Finding Nemo here?
Sure. We have Finding Nemo, Coco, which just came out, which is a great film. We have a beautiful course that is all based off of Soul.
Okay.
And then one of my personal favorites, Up.
Oh, there you go. And you were saying that's an interactive one too.
Yeah, it's interactive. You actually get to putt your ball into Carl's house, and then the house flies to Paradise Falls, where you get to finish play on the course.
Amazing. So this is a really fun and kid-friendly experience, but also for us adults, you kind of get to live like you're a child again.
Yeah, anybody from 5 to 105 is welcome to play.
Okay, perfect. Well, let's go try another one, and it's going to be your turn this time.
Okay.
Okay, so now we made it to Luca, and you said that this is your favorite one.
Yeah, Luca's my all-time favorite hole. We get to putt through the village, around the scooter, which Luca pines after, to get down to the hole back in the ocean.
Now this looks a little tough. You were saying some of these aren't the easiest going around.
No, they're challenging. So it's definitely fit for adults. It's great for kids.
Okay.
You know, and there's nothing better than coming down at night. We have Pixar After Dark for adults on Thursdays through Saturdays. And it's really festive.
Well, I'm excited to get some practice in before I bring my friends for those late night adventures. So let's play this course a little bit. I'm gonna let you start it off because you know what you're doing, and I'm gonna follow in after you.
Sounds good.
And then when we come back, I'm gonna show you guys my favorite. This is now gonna be my favorite with the claw. I'm excited to try this one out, but this is just a fun experience, especially if you wanna get out and you wanna get active, you know, just a little course just to, you know, enjoy with everybody.
Yeah, it's a good 90-minute time on the course, and there's so much to do down here as well with all of the different restaurants and bars and of course the beach.
And so where can people go, to get more information or maybe get tickets for this? Because people are already able to, buy them right now.
Yeah, in fact, we have many dates already sold out. The best way is to go to pixarputt.com.
Okay.
Or stop by if you're in the area and one of our associates can help.
All right, so I'm excited to try out my favorite one. So this one's a little different because it's the claw theme. So do I just go ahead and
you want to first decide which way you want to shoot the ball out.
Okay. And I just drop it?
Just drop your ball. Not too bad.
All right, guys, here we go. We're gonna try and make this in 2. Woo!
Nice job.
Oh, there we go. Thank you so much for showing us around. This has been a really neat experience.
Thank you.
All right, and we are going to see more on SoFlo Health.
Welcome back to SoFlo Health. I'm Hunter Frankie, and boy, the soup is good. Shingles has been very uncomfortable. I don't recommend it. But if you do get shingles, I do recommend you take action quickly, stay hydrated, get rest, enjoy some good food, whether it's soup or whatever else it is that you like, but eat healthy when you can. Because I know when you're not feeling great, it's a little bit harder to do, but it will help you recover faster. I would like to say thank you so much to La Boulangerie for supplying me with these soups. Thank you to the crew for bringing the soup, and thank you to SoFlo H2O host Olivia Ray for heading over to Pixar Putt, even though I couldn't. That's all we have for this week's episode of SoFlo Health. Thank you so much for watching. I promise next week we are back in business as usual. I'm back in business. I can't wait to have these shingles behind me. Well, technically they're still behind me, but I just want them off of me too. As always, you can watch previous episodes of SoFlo Health using SoFloShows.com. You can also follow us using @SoFlo Health to share with us what you're doing to stay healthy. Until next week, it's goodbye, good health, no shingles, and great soup. Next week on SoFlo Health, personal trainer Morgan Shapiro is back, and we go over the 4 parts of your leg workouts. Plus, a vegan cafe we recently featured has been reborn. We'll check out the new space and new menu items. So come back next week for more SoFlo Health. We'll see you then.